Hello everybody, how are we? So last night was an absolute cracker of a conversation. One of my favourite lives ever in the history of lives. Good. If you're watching this and you haven't seen it, last night's conversation on live, check it out. It was legit. Very, very much legit. Right? We went over all the stupid shit that people do in the fitness industry, and there are a lot of stupid people in this industry. So if you come up with any more stupid ideas or stupid things that you've heard and you want to share with us, share with it, and we'll rant together about them on these live chats. But tonight we're going in a much more positive direction. We're going to be looking at how you can hack your hormones in order to optimize your fat loss, because there is so much that you can do. I mean, if you want to have optimal progress, you really want to smash your hormones and get them working for you. Because when your hormones work for you, everything starts working for you. Now, without a doubt, there's going to be 1, 2, maybe 3 dickheads tonight. I'd say 3 dickheads tonight that'll bring up, the only way to do it is with steroids, alright? No. You can improve your hormones with many other ways without using exogenous hormones. Yes, of course, using exogenous hormones will help a lot. But you don't need to use exogenous hormones to hack your hormones. What I'm going to show you tonight are some super easy ways in which you can do all this, which you can fix all your hormones, you can make everything work a whole heap better. So yeah, and as always guys, I love hearing your questions. We have a heap of intelligent people that watch these things, so ask away, comment away. I'll start up the commenting by adding in the Shred community. Without a doubt, most of you guys are in there by now. If you're not, get amongst it because you'll absolutely froth it. So, I want to be like you. Well, mate, you can if you join the Shred community. That is the key to getting shredded, is being in the Shred community. Done. So the Shred community link is right there. Rightio. So I'm going to wait for the Shred community guys to get amongst it. And I'll bore you a little bit with some of my training. So at the moment, I'm still cruising at 4,500 calories, but I keep getting leaner. I mean, probably can't really see that, but I keep getting leaner and leaner. I'm smashing my bananas. I've got some chips in there frying up, or air frying up, of course. Fat post-workout, how I like it. But yeah, pretty much, guys, I cannot gain weight. It's really hard. Well, I mean, I can't gain weight. I'm gaining muscle. I'm growing, definitely, leaning out. But man, it is an absolute effort at the moment. I just got to eat more and more. I'm working a heap, so I'm pulling some pretty large days. Yesterday was I started about 6:30, finished at about 10. That was pretty solid. Today's been much the same. So yeah, no, it's hard gaining weight, I'll tell you that. But for all you hard gainers out there, there is hope. There is hope, because you can gain mass, you can get bigger. You just got to eat a shitload more. You just need to continually up your calories. The thing with your calories, which we'll go over later, is that we constantly need to readjust them in line with how your body's progressing. People always ask me, James, what's the best diet plan? The thing is, there's no one single best diet plan, right? There's no one single best diet plan. You need to tailor it to your body at that time. That's why I change all my clients' programs every 4 weeks, minimum. All my top level guys, I'm changing the program every single week if they need it. So you need to constantly be reviewing. Oh, by the way, that's 5-HTP, that's magnesium, that's alpha GPC to keep my brain going with this, and this is berberine, right? I got the bugger, or the fresh pack, not the empty one. But anyway, alright. I can see we're already getting some questions in here. Now, rightio, we'll go over them. So Mohit's just said, steroid use and abuse I can understand, but what about peptides? We'll go over them later, big fella. Thoughts on DMAE? Yes, we'll hit that in depth. And Graphy's gone about, you think that backloading and building insulin sensitivity is the best way to best way to spike GH? Not quite. We'll go over that in a sec, man. They're all really good questions, guys. Keep them flowing, because we're going to go over the general stuff about hormones first, then we're going to hone in and be super specific about the stuff that you all want to chat with. So, first things first, right? The number one most anabolic hormone, the most important hormone in your body, is insulin. Insulin is the Mac Daddy. It is the big boy of all hormones. It is the one that's going to make you grow. It is going to be the one that makes you hold fat, build muscle, all that sort of thing, okay? Now, if you have poor insulin sensitivity, you're going to have a shit time, all right? I don't know if you know anybody who has gone through a really big bulk, right? We all know somebody who's gone through a big bulk, and they've just got fat abs, all right? They just get fat through their bulk. And then when they try to cut, they try to cut really, really hard, but they end up not budging. They don't end up losing, you know, a whole heap of fat. And then all that ends up happening is they end up getting kind of skinny. And these are the ones that turn into the perma-bulkers, the ones who are constantly eating heaps and heaps of food. They're always fat. They never have abs, right? And they couldn't get abs if they tried. That's because their insulin's all screwed up, right? The thing with insulin is that when you damage it, or when you put it in a position where it's not working at its best, your results just go downhill. This is because when your insulin sensitivity goes down, right, and your insulin response isn't as good, your muscles stop taking up carbs and your fat increases carbs. So there are two areas where you really store your carbs, the majority of them anyway. There's your muscle and there's your fat, okay? They're the two biggies. Which one, you know, insulin will choose which one to take the carbs into out of these two, right? You'll choose one of the two, only one of the two. Now, when you are eating a hugely high calorie diet and you reduce your insulin sensitivity, this one stops being as sensitive to it, and this one, the fat, so the muscle stops being as sensitive, the fat starts being much more sensitive, and so it starts taking all that up, right? And it starts making you fatter and fatter and fatter, and you get more and more and more and more and more inflamed, okay? So, in order to hack insulin, in order to use insulin to be optimally lean, all right, this is what you need to do. First things first, you need to reduce, if you are not insulin sensitive, you need to reduce your carb intake, all right? You need to drop that down. You should increase your berberine intake. Take roughly 500 milligrams to 1.5 grams per day, all right? You can introduce that after about 3 to 4 weeks of dieting. You need to reduce the chronic inflammation throughout your whole system. Whenever you're inflamed, your insulin resistance goes up immediately. That's the first thing that happens. You need to improve your testosterone levels. If your test is low, your insulin sensitivity goes down as well, all right? And your insulin resistance goes up. So you become less good at partitioning your nutrients. You need to improve your gut health, because with everything starts at the gut, so you need to nip that one in the bud. Most importantly, you need to actually find out if you are having insulin sensitivity issues or not. The easiest way to do this is to run bloods and run your blood tests. For all my advanced guys, I get them to all the ones who need it, I get them to run blood tests so that I can look at their blood, see exactly what's happening on the inside of them. And we look at the two biggest ones, three biggest ones for your blood tests, and looking at those are HbA1c, looking at your fasting glucose and your fasting insulin, okay? They're the three big ones. If you can look at all those, then you're gonna have a very good idea of your insulin sensitivity and what level you're at. You should always have a very, very high level of insulin sensitivity. You should always be very insulin sensitive. The reason for this is that if you're very insulin sensitive, you're going to stay lean, all right? So you're not even going to have to worry about losing fat, because you're naturally going to be lean all the time. See, I myself am always very insulin sensitive because I'm always on diet, I'm always following my plan, I'm always smashing the right supplements all the time, okay? All the time I'm on that. And that's how I can stay at 6% body fat with no issues whatsoever. Now, on the other hand, your old mate Perma-Bulker, who is constantly just monging down the Krispy Kremes and eating a whole heap of shit, he's going to have a tough time cutting. Very, very tough time cutting. Very tough cut. So yeah, to summarize that again and go over for all those people who missed it, if you want to improve your insulin sensitivity, if you want to make so that you can lose fat very, very easily, stay lean, have no worries about that, grow muscle faster, you should make sure that you improve your insulin sensitivity. So to do that, you reduce your carb intake. You start taking berberine between 500 milligrams and 1.5 grams per day. Reduce the chronic inflammation throughout your body and improve your gut health, okay? On top of that, improve your testosterone too, and reduce the 5 stresses and balance the 5 stresses that I always talk about. The 5 stresses being digestive stress, your sleep stress, your rest stress, your emotional stress, your psychological stress, and your physical stress, okay? You need to make sure that those 5 are in balance. If If you don't know what I'm talking about, the 5 stresses, comment it below and we can sort you out later. Now the next one, the biggest one, testosterone. Everyone wants to improve their testosterone. Well, every guy does. For chicks, it's not quite as good for you. But every single guy wants to improve their testosterone, okay? Improving your testosterone and having the highest natural levels of testosterone is not hard, all right? It is not hard whatsoever. In fact, I know for a fact for myself, I sit right up at the top of the reference range of testosterone, right? All the time, every single blood test. My testosterone's good, my SHBG is good, and my testosterone to estrogen ratio is always really, really good. And here is how I do it, and here's how I do the same thing with all my guys, all right? The number one thing for testosterone, if you want to boost your testosterone, you need to reduce your stress. So, there are 2 hormones that oppose each other, cortisol and testosterone. When your stress goes up, cortisol goes up, testosterone goes down, all right? When your stress goes down, cortisol goes down, testosterone goes up, okay? It's as simple as that. The biggest thing you want to do with your testosterone is to make sure you're not stressed. On top of this too, you want to make sure your body's not stressed. So you want to reduce the levels of inflammation in your body or reduce the damage to your cells in your body. Now, some very, very easy ways to do that are improving your insulin sensitivity. So you can actually reduce your carb intake to do that, or reduce your calorie intake, go into periods of bulking and cutting, all right? That's a really good way to do it. And actually on top of this too, intermittent fasting has been shown to increase androgen receptor density. The androgen receptor is what testosterone binds to. So testosterone only works when it's combined with the androgen receptor, and they work like this, and then they start making you bigger and leaner. All right? If you improve your androgen receptor density, you got more of these androgen receptors here, so more testosterone can do its thing. All right? The next thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that your SHBG, your sex hormone binding globulin, is at an optimal level. The way to make sure that your SHBG is nice and high but not too low is by keeping your estrogen levels down, which is primarily done through improving your gut health and improving your gut detoxification of estrogen. You want to improve your inflammation throughout the system and reduce your the levels of your bad cholesterol, and you just want to reduce your stress in general. They're the easiest ways to do that. The next thing that I noticed for improving testosterone, really boosting testosterone up, is making sure your neurotransmitters are in sync. One thing I see all the time, there's a lot of guys who come to me with depression, anxiety, and neurotransmitters all over the place. Girls are very much the same. When your neurotransmitters are all over the place, your hormones are always all over the place. They're never at optimal levels. Not once have I seen somebody with an optimal hormonal profile when they've had a really shoddy neurotransmitter profile, okay? So what you need to do is you need to make sure that your neurotransmitters are all sweet. They're all working. The easiest ways to do this are, number 1, gut health. Fix up your gut. Number 2, improve your sleep. Sleep a lot more. Number 3 is supplement with GABA creating neurotransmitters such as GABA, phenibut, ronicol and resurrect, melatonin, rhodiola, those sorts of things. If you can supplement with all them, then you're going to be laughing. Your testosterone levels will actually increase. Now the next one, which is a really, really cool one I stumbled across a few months ago, is astragalus. Astragalus is like a herb. It's an old Chinese herb. It's used for the immune system. One thing it does is it actually boosts up luteinizing hormone output. Luteinizing hormone is the thing that along with follicle stimulating hormone, increases testosterone, okay? So by taking about 500 milligrams of astragalus every single day, guys can have increased testosterone levels. You'll notice a significant increase in testosterone. Now, I've used it. I haven't run my bloods on it, so I can't say that my blood test distinctively showed that I did have increased testosterone, but it did show in a study that regular guys using astragalus had increased levels of testosterone, all right? Now, the next thing that we need to do is when we want to have our testosterone high, we also need to make sure our estrogen's working really, really well. Testosterone and estrogen are both good. Now, all the guys who are listening, right, I want you to change your thoughts on estrogen completely. Most guys are like, oh, estrogen's crap. You don't want estrogen. It's no good for you. You could not be more wrong there. Estrogen is essential. Estrogen has a whole heap of good things. It looks after your brain. It looks after your bone health. It looks after your blood vessels. It looks after your nerves. It controls your cravings. It helps control craving levels. So if you have low levels of estrogen, you get cravings. That's why girls, when you're on your periods, your estrogen's down the gutter, and it actually That's why you get your cravings and your mood swings and all that, because estrogen works in together with serotonin, and when you have lower levels of estrogen, it actually messes up with the serotonin. It also, the reason why you get migraines when you're having your period is because the trigeminal nerve isn't working properly, all right? Because the estrogen also regulates that in its function and plays around with it. So yeah, you need to make sure that you have a very healthy balance between testosterone and estrogen, because it has all these good things. However, the problem in a lot of men and a lot of women is that nobody really detoxifies estrogen terribly well. Now, when you have excessive estrogen, too much estrogen for what you need, number one, what it does is it's a very fattening hormone. So it will actually make you hold weight. Number two, it increases your water retention. So it actually makes you hold more water and get puffier, look fatter than what you actually are, okay? And number three, I've actually noticed that with women, it slows your bowel movements dramatically, all right? It really impacts your bowels. With dudes, I haven't seen it to the same extent, but everybody, literally every single dude who I know who has a gut issue or IBS or something like that will have poor estrogen levels and won't be detoxifying estrogen well. So what we need to do in order to keep estrogen in check is, number one, have plenty of testosterone. This is for you dudes. Have lots and lots of testosterone, because testosterone converts into estrogen, okay? And when you have lots of that, it means you can produce plenty of estrogen to keep your bones healthy and keep everything working really, really well, all right? Now for women, your main issue, or your main issues, are going to be stress. You need to make sure that your stress levels are good, all right? Next thing for men and women is you want to take a bit of DIM and calcium D-glucarate if your estrogen levels are too high. The easiest way to find out how your estrogen levels are by doing blood tests, you know, the things I do with all my advanced clients. If you can do that and you find out, you know, oh geez, my estrogen to testosterone ratio is a bit too high if you're a man, or if you're a woman, your estrogen is too high for that part of your cycle, then you should be really considering using DIM and calcium D-glucarate in order to bring those levels down, okay? On top of this too, one thing a lot of people forget is that estrogen is primarily detoxified in the gut. When it's detoxified in the gut, that means that you need to have good gut health in order for it to work, for the detoxification process to go ahead and for it to start clearing out the estrogen, all right? Now, if your gut isn't good, you are always going to have high levels of estrogen. So once again, look after your gut. The next one, really cool hormones, the thyroid hormones, okay? With the thyroid, there are let's go 3 key hormones related to the thyroid which we want to worry about. They are T4, T3, and reverse T3. They're the 3 biggies. T4 is the one which is primarily produced by the thyroid gland. When we make T4, it doesn't do much itself. So anybody who's given thyroxine by their doctor, you probably notice that it doesn't do terribly much, even though you got Hashimoto's and your thyroid levels have been down the gutter. The problem with using T4 is that it needs to be then converted into T3, okay? So T4 itself doesn't do much. You need it to be turned into T3 by a deiodinase enzyme, and it will turn T4 into T3. However, if you're really, really stressed, that's when the third one comes in, reverse T3, right? Reverse T3 is like T3, except it's got a change in conformation and it doesn't have any effect on the metabolism whatsoever. So T3 is really, really potent on the metabolism. It spikes your metabolism up. It makes you synthesize protein. It is highly, highly anabolic, all right? T3 is anabolic. So for all you bodybuilders out there who think that T3 is catabolic, it's not. It's anabolic if used properly, all right? Reverse T3, on the other hand, however, it inactivates the thyroid receptor, okay? So it stops it working and it blocks the effect of T3. Now, when you have higher levels of when you have higher levels of stress and higher levels of inflammation, higher levels of cortisol, you get the conversion of T4 going into reverse T3 as opposed to T3. This means that your T4, the thyroid hormone which doesn't really do much, right? It goes into the other thyroid hormone which does bugger all, right? Does literally nothing, sends you backwards, as opposed to sending you into the thyroid hormone which starts working really, really well, right? So pretty much anybody out there, if you're being given T4, right, and you've got Hashimoto's or some sort of thyroid related disease, you're probably not going to get terribly many benefits unless you actually reduce the stress, you reduce the inflammation, then your T4 will work. By which time, you'll actually find that your Hashimoto starts to decline if you reduce your stress well enough. But anyway, with the thyroid hormones, the best advice that I can give you guys is to, number one, sleep more, all right? Number two, maximize the amount of calories that you're eating while still losing fat, okay? You don't want to drop your caloric intake, because otherwise, if you do drop your caloric intake, it will drop your thyroid hormone output, okay? Now the next one, the last one, the big baddie, cortisol. Everybody thinks that cortisol is bad. Everyone thinks that cortisol is evil, right? They say that it's not good, no good, would not touch it, shouldn't touch it. It is the absolute pits. Now, the reason why cortisol is good is because cortisol does a heap of things, such as increases our energy in the morning. It allows us to get up, move, go about our day. It also allows us to resolve inflammation. It prolongs the lifespan of adrenaline. So whenever we're stressed, whenever we're training, cortisol goes up and it makes adrenaline work a whole heap better, so we can push harder for longer. There's a whole heap of really, really good things. However, the problem with cortisol comes in when we have too much of it. When there is an excess of cortisol, it starts eating away at our muscle really hard. It drops testosterone down to the floor. You know, it reduces our thyroid function, increases the conversion of T4 into reverse T3. And the biggest one of all is that it reduces our insulin sensitivity, right? So what we need to do is we need to manage the 5 stresses that I always talk about. We need to keep our inflammation, our chronic inflammation levels down as low as possible. On top of that too, one thing that you can use which is really, really efficient, really effective, is using licorice root extract in the morning. And this pretty much boosts up your cortisol level in the morning, makes you really, really energetic in the morning, makes you feel really good, and then you have a very healthy cortisol rhythm throughout the rest of the day. The other thing too, which works well, is melatonin. Melatonin is absolutely fantastic for regulating your cortisol, all right? The third thing which I'd recommend is using carb backloading. When you carb backload, your cortisol levels are much, much healthier in general, because carbs inhibit cortisol, so they drop it down. So if you have cortisol in the morning, you're meant to have, well, what your cortisol spike's meant to be is you're meant to have a big spike in the morning, and then it comes down and trails off towards bed, all right? And then the next day it just spikes up again and then trails down. If you have carbs in this morning where there's meant to be a big spike, what happens is the spike kind of gets shut off and then it goes again a little bit later. And if you have another spike, if you have another bit of carbs in there which drop cortisol down, and you have to have a later spike, it continually shifts your spike and can potentially throw off your healthy cortisol rhythms and keep making you hungry throughout the day. So if you carb backload, that can dramatically change your results, right? Guys, that's a really heavy topic, I know. Really, really heavy topic. But if you do want to learn more, join the JCF Show community or shoot us a message and we'll be able to help you out. Good banana. Right, my chips are just cooked. I'm going to bring you guys with me and we're going to keep chatting. Now, what we're going to do, now I'm going to go run through these questions, all right? Keep asking away, guys, anything about that, because it's a really in-depth topic. There's a heap in it. So without a doubt, there is going to be a lot which I haven't covered, which I think that I've covered, which you guys want to know more about, okay? By the way, how epic does that look? So good. So good. Bulk life. I'm trying to smash about 1 kilo of this every night before bed. Minimum. That's 1 kilo cooked. So it's roughly 250 grams of carbs after my 150 grams of peri-workout dextrose. Alright, let's put you back on the tripod. Now, Mo here. He said, steroid use and abuse I can understand. What about peptides? Mate, peptides can be good, but the problem with peptides is that they're made so poorly because, you know, as you know with anything from China, it can be a bit dodgy. And that's where most of the peptides are being made at the moment. So, what happens is that the peptides themselves are fantastic. Right? They'll work very, very well. They give you very, very good gains. However, if you're buying peptides which aren't made properly, they're not going to work because they're dodgy peptides. So that's the biggest thing. Peptides are really fantastic for healing, for anti-aging. Well, some sorts of anti-aging. They're actually pro-aging, but they make you feel younger, although your cells age from them. So they do have a lot of really, really good effects. I mean, TB500, theoretically, I'm a massive fan of. What was the other one? GHRP6 is fantastic for gut issues. Ipamorelum is fantastic for tendon issues and soft tissue healing. A lot of them are really, really good. Now, Jem said, hey mate, thoughts on DMAE? Look, I've never used it, but theoretically it looks good, okay? So, I can't tell you from experience, I like to just stick with Theacrine. I've found Theacrine, I love it, I think it's absolutely fantastic, and so I wouldn't really need to use that. But with me anyway, I have more of a problem of coming down than being up. I'm always up on a high, I'm always go, 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 which is why I wake up at 6 o'clock every single morning. The first thing I do is check all my emails, and then from there, my day sets off. So yeah, I'm not the best with stimulants, other than Theacrine and you know, anti-adenosine things. Next one, Graphy. Do you think that backloading and building insulin sensitivity is the best way to spike GH? Mate, carbs inhibit growth hormone. So whenever you have carbs, you will drop your growth hormone levels down. Okay? This is the biggest thing that you need to remember, man. What you can do to increase growth hormone is you can take a bit of ornithine and, what's the other one? And arginine before bed, and that will actually slightly increase your growth hormone output. Right? They're both in Ronnie Coleman Resurrect. So, the best way to spike GH is, yeah, a bit of ornithine and arginine before bed. Hey God, how are you, big fella? Was wondering what kind of cheat do I have every single week? So pretty much, my cheat meals consist of whatever I can get my hands on. My goal at the moment is to get big. Currently, as you might have seen before, I am struggling to grow weight, right? So I'm losing a shitload of fat, eating a heap of calories, right? An absolute heap of calories. I keep getting leaner and leaner and leaner and leaner. My thing with a cheat meal is I just need to nom 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 nom. You know? I need to force feed myself, get more calories in. So I love gluten-free scones. Amazing, from the farmer's market. Pho noodle soup, pizza, anything. I just put anything and everything in that doesn't irritate my gut. The first thing I notice when I irritate my gut is that I lose my appetite for the next few days. So that really sucks. My biggest advice for you is don't do what I do for a cheat meal, because most people don't have my issue at all. Most people grow really, really easily. They gain fat really easily, right? And they have an issue with losing fat, staying lean while gaining muscle, okay? I don't have that problem. I've been training for bloody 10 years now. I know it makes you feel old. Started when I was 14 or 13. And so my situation is completely different to yours. But guys, the best cheat meal which I can recommend is anything which doesn't irritate your gut. Glen Salmon. Mate, Simon, that's a fantastic name. What are the best fat burning exercises beer gut is forming? The best fat burning exercise is to put the fucking beer down, right? Instead of having a frothy every Friday arvo, just don't have it. Now, if you do need to have a frothy, and you have to have one, you can't get away with it, the best one is to get Big Head by Burley Brewing Co. They have got a fantastic beer which is gluten-free, preservative-free, tastes really quite good, and, you know, still has a decent alcohol. You can still get pissed off it, right? On top of that too, when you are drinking, guys, what you need to do is you need to lower your carb intake, reduce your calorie intake while you are drinking, and make sure that you try and have enough protein throughout the day, right? The thing is, when you do when you do drink alcohol, it actually changes the metabolism of food, and which may change the way you store energy. You may preferentially store it as fat as opposed to glycogen, all right? On top of this too, mate, just increase your energy expenditure and you'll be right. Look, guys, if you're going out and you're having a few beers every week, you can get lean. It happens. If you're having a few drinks every single week, it's fine. You won't get optimally lean, but you can still get lean. It can definitely happen, all right? You just got to be really, really super smart about it. On top of that too, when you are drinking alcohol, it is slightly estrogenic, in particular beer, so it does make estrogen, so you need to modulate your estrogen levels. Graphy. Would you recommend playing with or having alternate fats and carbs days, i.e. high fats one day, no carbs, and next day only moderate carbs? Look, man, it is good Carb cycling is good, but only when you need it. Someone like you, Gaffy, you need to fix your sleep and your stress first. They're the two big killers for you, mate. Once you fix them, everything else will fall into line. Stephen, what do you recommend to take for good gut health? You take 1 large serving of not eating like a dickhead, 2 large servings of reducing your stress, and then after then, optimize your betaine HCl, mate. So start taking betaine HCl, which is a supplement you can buy it from iHerb, or apple cider vinegar, or both. Improving your sleep, and improving or regulating your neurotransmitters are the next best ones. Charles Ing, how to lose belly fat. Stop eating like a dickhead and you will lose belly fat. Kim Kenya, small head. Kim, I've been working for fucking years to have a small head relative to my body, so thank you very much. Yes, I do have a small head. I actually used to have a very big head at school, and the fact that it's small means I've gained a fuckload of muscle mass, so thank you. Jem, using T3 on a bulk to keep protein synthesis, to increase protein synthesis and keeping fat to a minimum. Good idea, mate. Definitely will work. The problem with using T3 on a bulk is that even if you're using a low dose of it means that your body will adapt to taking T3. So for those of you who don't know, a lot of bodybuilders, what they do is they take T3, which is the really active thyroid hormone. What this does is it increases protein synthesis, so it actually increases muscle gain, it increases muscle breakdown, it increases fat breakdown, and it also increases glucose breakdown. Right? And what a lot of bodybuilders do is they take it into a comp in order to get lean because it increases their metabolism. A lot of people also take it in the off season because it also increases their metabolism and may keep them leaner and may make them grow more muscle mass. Now the problem in my eyes of doing that is that you actually lose your trump card. If you're going to use something like T3 coming into a comp, you want to have your body as receptive to it as possible. Okay? You need to make sure that when you add in that T3, it works well. If you've been using it in your off season, you're going to have to use a lot more. And as we all know, using high doses of T3 is not optimal for staying full, staying big, and looking awesome. All right? Next one, Greg Campbell. Thoughts on sea salt for training? Yeah, it's good. I like rock salt. Sea salt's great too. Anything with sodium in it is going to increase your pumps. Raz Iron, what about SARMs? What about them, mate? Jaden, hey man, now there's no creatine in my plan. Do I not take any during this first phase or not at all? Mate, you don't need it during this first phase, so we're not going to worry about it. You only take supplements when you need them. It's all about finding the minimum effective dose. Guys, with your supplement protocols, if you're training with me or not, what you want to find is taking the minimum amount of supplements for the maximum effect. And that's what we always go for. When you start taking supplements for the sake of taking supplements, it's just never as good as if you were to just be sensible about it and take the right amount at all times and take the minimum amount. You always want to go for the minimum effective dose. Clayton, what did you say to supplement with to balance estrogen and testosterone? Balancing estrogen and testosterone, the big key players there, mate, are improving your digestive health. They are introducing DIM and calcium D-glucarate if you need them. Right, and reducing your amount of stress. Okay? They're the biggies, mate. Aiden. Aiden said, I know you just said a couple of drinks is fine, but 3 vodkas last cheat meal absolutely destroyed my gut for the next 2 days. Well, look who's not drinking for their cheat meals now, Aiden. If your gut reacts bad to something, you can't do it, right? I rarely drink, like very, very rarely drink. Reason why? Because I feel shit off it, my gut goes to shit. Not worth having at all, okay? So if you can't have a cheat meal, which involves drinking, because unless you bloat, if you bloat, then yeah, it's just not worthwhile doing. Not at all. Well, where are some of my Shred community comments? Let me get them up. Now, I've been getting a lot of boys asking me recently about all these supplements which increase growth hormone or maximize testosterone or do this or do that. Guys, literally anything which tells you that it's going to increase growth hormone, right? Literally anything is going to massively increase your growth hormone levels. Doesn't fucking work. They're all shit. Don't buy them. You're taking all these test boosters. There's only one which I've ever seen which is actually proven to work or shown to work, and that's Astragalus. Right? How many companies out there do you hear of selling Astragalus? Not many. Right? All these supplements, they rarely work. Okay? Rarely work at all. James has asked us, what are the best sups to get you into a REM sleep? Right? I always go to bed early to get my 8 hours, but it's never a solid sleep. Guys, the best supplements in order to get better sleep are ones which relax you, chill you out. So stuff like valerian root, GABA, 5-HTP, inositol, and of course Ronicol and Resurrect. Add in there a bit of melatonin too. Absolutely mint. If you want to sleep better, here are the things which you need to do in order to sleep better. You need to relax more, chill out more. You need to spend less time in front of a screen. You need to make sure that you're getting in plenty of sunlight, because when you get plenty of sunlight, you get more endogenous or more like internal serotonin and melatonin production, right? That's what you need to do in order to improve yourself. On top of that too, you can supplement stuff with magnesium and a heap of other rubbish like that, other stuff. Now, Dennis has asked, is there a good way to get stupidly big for bodybuilding competitions and not have to use insulin or HGH for a hard gainer? Guys, if you're out there, we're going to have plenty of competitors in this, I'm sure. If you want to get ready for a bodybuilding show, right, you want to get jacked and you're a hard gainer, right? Here's what you need to do. You don't need to reach out for the steroids. You don't need to reach out for the growth hormone, the insulin, all that sort of stuff. What you need to reach out to, number one, is getting a correct nutrition, training, supplementation protocol. If you don't have them, the rest of the stuff doesn't work. Trust me, I've worked with a lot of people, right? The guys who I've worked with who are pumping gear, pumping growth hormone, pumping insulin, all that sort of stuff, but not following the plan, they never grow, right? They never do well. They never look their best. The ones who use lower doses of that stuff, but use a very effective training, nutrition, supplementation protocol, always do really well, okay? You need to make sure that's what you're looking after. Now, Catherine's just asked, is there any truth to the body measurement test that tells you the areas where you're holding the most fat, which correlates directly to an imbalance in hormones? Look, I actually spoke to somebody about that the other day, Rawdon Dubois, my coach. And he was speaking to one of the original biosignature guys, the guys who do these things where they pinch certain sites and say, oh, you got estrogen here, or cortisol or whatever. And one of the blokes who was involved in the creation of it, he said that it was good for 10 or 15 years ago, but now it's completely irrelevant. So no, those things have got literally no validity whatsoever. Well, to all the information which I've seen. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about them. I don't bother with site pinch tests. I just take measurements. Pinch tests are just like, they're more of a complication than anything. Measurements are the easiest thing to do. Chatty's asked, what's the good flavoured drinks mixed with D-cream theanine to get rid of the chemical taste? Mate, suck it up. You just got to enjoy it. Learn to love it, right? Highlight of my day is mixing those two delicious supplements together. But if you don't want to suck it up, if you don't want to take it, just get anything which is stevia sweetened, like amino or something like that, and mix it in. The easiest way to do it is with anything that tastes like shit, any supplement that tastes like shit, is number one, get it in capsules if you can't take it, or number two, just put it straight down the hatch and scull it. You don't have to gargle the shit, you know what I mean? You're not impressing anyone by gargling it, just put it straight down the hatch. Next one. Zane's just asked, diet hacks for fat loss. Zane, the best diet hack which you can do is to eat less. Best diet hack. Well, not just eat less, but eat smarter. Look after your gut, look after your calories, look after your macronutrients, optimize your exercise, and you'll be sweet. What is next? Alrighty. Yeah, more about fat burners. Guys, on fat burners as well, All right, we get a heap of questions here about fat burners. Taking fat burners is not the way to lose fat. They simply don't work. Any fat burner, which works well, is illegal or restricted, all right? The 3 ones that work well are salbutamol, thyroid hormone, and DNP. They're the 3 ones which work well. You can chuck in steroids there as well, maybe a bit of growth hormone. They're the ones which work. So let's go with those 5. Anything you buy from the supermarket or the supplement shop or your local dodgy Instagram person who's taking a photo of their ass and got the picture of their thing next to them, or they're wearing stupid Halloween costumes and lifting and saying, oh, you know, I was just about to name the company that do that, but anyway, I won't do that. If you got anyone that's absolutely bloody ridiculous like that, marketing it, right, this shit doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. None of those fat burners work. They're all crap. They're a waste of money. What they're really good for, they're really good for parting you with your money. That's about it, okay? They will jack them full of caffeine. You will sweat till the cows come home. You'll feel very exhausted after your workout, so you think you've had a really good workout and you'll think that you've, you know, shredded a lot more fat than what you actually have, okay? They will not increase your energy expenditure. They will not make you leaner, all right? What they will do is stress your gut. They will really screw with your gut. That's a good one. They will really stress with your catecholamines, so your adrenaline. They'll really stress with your stress hormones, so cortisol, okay? They'll do a lot of really bad stuff, all right? But one good thing that they'll do is that if you don't diet well and you never diet well, then you go out and buy some fat burner, right? What you will end up doing is you will end up following your diet plan from then on in, okay? You will end up following diet plan because you've gone out and you spent $50 on a shitty fat burner, and now you're like, oh, I spent $50, so I might as well follow my diet properly. That's all they're gonna do, right? All fat burners are shit, unless they're illegal. All right. Well, guys. Well. On that note, I'm gonna take in the last questions right now that you guys have, okay? So if you have anything that you want to go over, comment away right now, and we'll go through with you live. After 5 minutes, I'm going to go finish off my food, and then I'll speak to you all tomorrow. I'm thinking tomorrow we'll have to do another rant, because there's so much stupid shit going on in the fitness industry. I mean, last night we spent a good hour ranting just about the stupid shit that people do. There's so much stupid shit that people do. Oh my god. Don't even start me on the Instagram models. Oh. Like, honestly, some of the dumbest people alive exist in this fitness industry. Alright? Some of the dumbest. Absolute worst. Big Callum. How long after eating something that messes with your gut does it take for your gut to get back into a good state? Awesome question. Big Callum. But this is why you're on the team, mate. Good question. When you screw up with your gut, there are 2 main things that happen. Number 1, your gut bacteria go all over the place, right? They're unhappy. Number 2, your gut lining gets damaged. So, with your gut bacteria, if you're just eating a one-off bad thing, and they go all out of whack, okay, then, you know, they're pretty, just as a one-off, pretty much within 24 hours, it'll snap out pretty quickly. It's the same thing if you damage it, you're unlikely to actually damage your gut lining after just doing one thing. However, if it's continual eating shit, then that's when you're going to go downhill. And you're going to end up with chronic alterations to your gut microbes. You're going to have them going into wrong spots. You're going to have the incorrect production of neurotransmitters. And then your gut lining is going to get inflamed, which is in turn going to increase your cortisol, which then goes back and changes your microbial diversity in your gut. Right? It's a very long answer, I know, but yeah. It can take up to, if you've got a bad gut, if you've got a long-term bad gut, 8 to 12 weeks. When you're training with me, 8 to 12 weeks. If you don't train with me, well, people rarely get better, just to be blunt about it. In fact, I saw a girl the other night who I've seen, it was on Facebook. Poor girl, I feel for her. But pretty much, she's, I saw her years ago, my girlfriend Sarah tagged me in one of her posts when she had bad gut issues, and she went off and saw a naturopath. and tried to get her gut fixed. And 2 years later, she's still battling the same shit because she hasn't fixed her gut properly and hasn't looked at the neurotransmitters. And now people are telling her, oh, go have a look at this latest isogenic shake. It'll fix absolutely everything. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. People are saying like, oh, I have gut issues too. You should come talk with me and we can battle it together. I'm like, oh my God. If you've got gut issues and you can't fucking fix them, why are you helping someone else? Anyway, rant over. That's more stupid people in the industry. Dylan, how are you, brother? You rant on gluten, about gluten, how it's the devil. However, I've been eating bread, wraps, lasagna and pasta, and after ingesting I still don't feel bloated. And also how someone reverse the effects of degenerative microvilli. Dylan, I'll ask you right now, how lean are you? Do you have a six-pack all year round? And are you gaining muscle mass at a considerable rate? Would you say you're gaining muscle mass at an optimal rate? Right? As for helping reversing the effects of degenerative microvilli, how do you know you have degenerative microvilli? And the easiest way to fix that is to just reduce inflammation in the first place. Very, very simple. Maybe throw in a little bit of chondroitin or glucosamine to help with it. So yeah, Dylan, are you lean? Are you getting more shredded very easily? And are you gaining mass? And then we'll see if gluten's affecting your gains. Matty Millen, when you said GHRP6 is good for your gut, what do you mean by that? I've used it before and it gives me gas. The GHRP6 itself won't give you gas, mate. The shit food that you put in after eating the GHRP6 will give you gas. GHRP6 activates the ghrelin receptor, right? The ghrelin receptor stimulates gut movements. So it's actually quite good. Josh Clark. Probiotics in example Greek yogurt and fresh fruit beat into beating a common cold. As in, do they help? Right. Yeah, nah. Look, beating the common cold, what you need to do is you need to fix your gut health. Greek yogurt gives you fuck all probiotics, like literally none. You might as well not do it at all. Waste of time. You want to have a probiotic and you need a probiotic, then get a probiotic. Don't waste your time with any of this natural shit because there are so few bacteria in there, it's not funny. Particularly yogurt or kefir, you know? Kombucha, on the other hand, gives you a little different population of those things and can be helpful in some instances, but not all the time. What I would recommend, mate, if you want to beat the common cold, is, with fresh food as well, it's not going to do shit, man. There's so little vitamin C in that, you're better off with veggies, right? What you need to do is just fix your gut health. You need to fix your gut health, mate, because your whole immune system sits in your gut, right? Literally, it's literally all there. If you don't believe me, Google it yourself and you'll see that it'll tell you that it's about 70 to 85% of your total immune system. So if you're taking probiotics, but your gut isn't moving properly and those probiotics are actually inflaming your gut more, don't take probiotics. The biggest thing for reducing the instance of common colds and flus and poor immunity is sleeping more, eating healthier, and reducing your stress, keeping your stress at a very good level. On top of that, exercising also helps really well, and balancing your hormones. Estrogen is very, very good for the immune system, so keeping your testosterone and estrogen levels nice and high. They're the best ones, mate. Dylan, currently sitting at around 16%. Dylan, if you're sitting at around 16%, I can nearly guarantee that if you cut out the gluten, if you cut out all the shit from your diet, which is pro-inflammatory for your gut and isn't working well for you at all, then what you're going to do is you'll drop to around 14% just by doing that over the period of about 8 weeks, even if you match your caloric intake, all right? If you match your caloric intake, match your macronutrients, and you removed all the shit stuff from your life, bang, within 8 weeks, you'll start dropping a heap more fat. You can even get a blood test to check, okay? So do that and let me know how you go. Because gluten never helps anybody. Gluten never has a positive effect, ever. And the fact that if you know from the research which is out there that gluten's bad, you can look at anything which points to the effect of gliadins, gluten-like proteins, on zonulin, which is the thing which holds your gut together, you'll know that it's just not worth having ever. It doesn't do anything good for you. Adding to this as well, it's also a lectin, which is really not good for your gut either, or for your inflammation levels. Sammy Schmidt, are all apple cider vinegars the same? Any brands that I recommend? Mate, apple cider vinegar is going to be apple cider vinegar. You know? As long as it tastes foul, acidic, right, and smells strongly of apple, it's going to be decent. You know? Now, on that note, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you all. It was another pleasure having you on board. So, if you have any questions, ask us. If you want to learn more, if you want to get smarter, if you want to get bigger, if you want to get leaner, join the Shred community, right? We're going to be posting up there every single day. We've got a fucking epic team in there. All my athletes, you know, all my whole team, whole JCF staff, whole lot. Heaps of people in there. So get amongst it if you haven't already, because you're missing out. On that note, I'm going to leave you all to it. I'm going to go finish my food, and I'll speak to you later. Take it easy, guys.